In the heart of Black Pine Forest, Camp Redwood sat abandoned, decaying under the weight of time and secrets. It had once been a thriving summer retreat until the fire of '98, the one that killed 7 campers. No one rebuilt it. No one came back. But that summer, a group of college friends did. Jake, Mia, Leo, and Tessa weren't scared of legends. They wanted an adventure, a thrill. So they packed sleeping bags, flashlights, and a drone and hiked deep into the woods. "It's just for one night," Mia reminded them as they arrived at the crumbling cabins. "Ghosts aren't real." The air around Camp Redwood was unnaturally still. No birds, no insects, just the wind moaning through burnt rafters. They set up camp near the old mess hall, its roof half collapsed. Leo, the most curious, wandered inside. He found scorched walls, melted silverware, and names scratched into the floor. 7 of them. Jake called out, "Dinner time!" That night, they lit a fire, laughed, drank, told ghost stories. Then came the humming, soft at first, childlike, a tune none of them recognized. "Probably the wind," Tessa said. But it got louder, closer. A little girl's voice began to sing. "Down in the ashes they all lie still, faces burned, bones to chill." They froze. The fire dimmed to embers. The forest swallowed the song. Jake grabbed a flashlight. "Who's there?" Nothing. They turned in for the night, though sleep didn't come easy. At 2:14 a.m., Leo's scream tore through the silence. Jake and the others found him near cabin 6. His skin was cold, his eyes wide, staring. His mouth sewn shut with black thread. No one heard footsteps. No one saw who or what did it. Panicking, they tried to run, but the trail back was gone. Trees shifted, paths changed. Camp Redwood wouldn't let them go. One by one, the whispers came. Tessa wandered off alone. Mia went into the lake and never surfaced. Only Jake remained. He boarded himself inside the main lodge, holding a pocket knife and his phone. The camera recorded as shadows crept along the walls, whispering names of the dead campers. Then they called his name. The last frame showed Jake staring into the lens, whispering, "They're still burning." The phone was found a year later, buried in ash. Camp Redwood still hums at night. No one visited 72 Willow Lane anymore. The house had stood abandoned for nearly 2 decades, yet every summer, a light flickered in the attic window. Kids in the neighborhood dared each other to knock on the front door, but none ever did. Except for Emily Reeves. Emily was 16 and stubborn. Her mother had warned her to stay away from that house. "They say it breathes," she'd whispered one night, wine glass trembling in her hand. "The walls, they move." Emily didn't believe in stories. That summer, she broke in. It was July 3rd, hot and thick with humidity. Her friends dared her to enter the Whisper House and live stream it. She agreed. Phone in hand, she crept through the overgrown yard. The front door was sealed with rusty nails. She found a basement window ajar. Sliding through, she dropped into stale air. The basement smelled like wet paper and something else, something rotting. "Okay, guys," she whispered to the stream. "I'm in." Her flashlight swept across dusty walls and shelves full of old dolls. Limbs missing, eyes clouded white. "Creepy but not haunted," she joked. Her stream glitched. Then a whisper. "Ellie." She froze. "What?" The whisper repeated. Not through her phone, behind her. She spun. Nothing. Just the basement door, creaking open on its own. Upstairs was worse. The hallway was warped, as if the house had grown tired of symmetry. Doors were misaligned. The wallpaper pulsed, breathing. In the kitchen, plates were set. Fresh food sat on them. Flies buzzed overhead. "Who lives here?" she murmured. Whispers surrounded her. "Ellie." The attic door stood at the end of the hallway. She climbed. The air grew colder. Dust swirled in unnatural currents. The attic was empty except for a mirror. Tall, gilded, too clean. As she approached, her flashlight flickered. Her reflection didn't move. She stepped left. The reflection smiled. She screamed. It raised a hand, scratched something onto the glass. Stay. Then the attic door slammed shut. Emily ran, but the stairs were gone. The hallway stretched endlessly, doors multiplying. She opened one. A version of herself stared back, eyes stitched shut, mouth sewn into a smile. It stepped forward. She slammed the door. Another room, another Emily. This one dragged a shattered leg. "Help me," it groaned. "I stayed too long." She ran. No matter how far she went, she never left the house. Outside, her friends watched the stream cut to static. The house stood silent until next summer, and a new whisper from the attic, "Come in." Jackson Myers was a small-town radio host in Hollow Creek. A place so quiet the loudest thing most nights was the rustle of pine trees. He ran a midnight show called Whispers in the Dark, where locals called in with ghost stories or strange happenings. It was mostly fun, until one summer night when something answered. The call came in at 12:44 a.m. "Hello, you're on the air," Jackson said, sipping stale coffee. Static. Then, "Can you hear me?" Jackson straightened. The voice was hollow, distant, like it echoed from a tunnel. "Yes, go ahead. You're live." A pause. "They're watching me." Jackson raised an eyebrow. "Who's watching you?" "They live beneath the tower." A chill ran through him. "Beneath? The radio tower?" Silence. Then, click. He replayed the tape. No caller ID. Nothing but that single, bone-deep voice. He laughed it off, but he couldn't shake the feeling. Hollow Creek's radio tower stood alone in the woods just outside town. Built in the 60s, no one paid much attention to it anymore. Except maybe someone, or something, still did. The next night, the same voice returned. "They said you'd come," it whispered. "When the humming starts." "Humming?" Jackson said. "What the hell are you talking about?" But the line went dead again. That night, Jackson dreamed of wires snaking from the ground, wrapping around his throat. The tower loomed behind him, pulsing like a heartbeat. He woke at 3 a.m. to a low hum, faint, but constant. It wasn't coming from the equipment. It was outside, coming from the direction of the tower. Curiosity got the better of him. He drove. The forest was darker than he remembered, like the trees swallowed light. The humming grew louder the closer he got. When he stepped out of the car, it vibrated through his chest. The tower stood in silhouette against the moonlight. No lights, no birds, no wind. Beneath it was an old maintenance shack, padlocked and half buried, but the lock was gone, rusted clean off. He opened the door. Darkness spilled out like fog. The air reeked of metal and something. Older. He stepped in. Inside were stairs leading down. Not modern ones, stone, worn smooth. The humming throbbed from below. He descended. After what felt like an hour, he entered a chamber. Wires crisscrossed the walls, merging into pulsing pods. Inside them, human shapes twitched, dozens of them, suspended in some kind of liquid, eyes wide open. At the center stood a machine, ancient and organic, all bone and bronze, shaped like a transmitter. It turned to him, not mechanically, physically. The entire machine shifted toward him, as though it had always been alive. A voice rang out, not from speakers, but directly inside his skull. "You have spoken. Now you will listen." Wires snapped from the walls, piercing his skin. He screamed, but no sound came out. His memories, his voice, his identity, they bled into the machine. Above ground, his show played on. Jackson's voice told ghost stories, answered calls, laughed, but he wasn't there. He was still beneath the tower, listening, always listening.